We've been talking a lot about, with other beverage CEOs about what they're doing to fill the gaps. And yesterday, for example, Heineken mentioned an online site where they're trying to sell more beer. Is Diageo trying to be more aggressive online? Because that's not typically the best sales route for alcoholic beverages.
Good morning. Coming into the pandemic, the company, as you know, has had 4 years of very consistent mid-single-digit growth and margin expansion. And with COVID, which really attacks the heart of socializing, business in the on-trade, people going out to bars, restaurants, events, festivals, has clearly got impacted. But we're pivoting fast. The goal of the company, and I'm really proud of how our people have moved with real speed to where the consumer is going and to how channels are changing and to supporting our customers. For example, we're taking back 500,000 kegs of Guinness to make sure that next pint you have is perfectly fresh. To your question, in the last quarter, for example, e-commerce is relatively small, but it's accelerating. Our business in e-commerce doubled in the last quarter compared to the prior quarter. And we've been shifting our focus very rapidly to supporting where the channels are moving to. And so for markets like the UK to China to Colombia, e-commerce is picking up. It's still a relatively small part of our business, but it's probably taking a step that's 2 or 3 years forward in terms of the pace at which it's picking up. I'd also say things like, who would imagine that you could get a cocktail, a delicious Casamigos margarita served to you, delivered from a bar in New York to your apartment? That's happening. There's home delivery from the on-trade, say in the US, with ready-to-go drinks. In India, 6 or 7 states have started allowing home delivery. In East Africa, in Kenya and Uganda, we've hired this sales force called Boda Bodas on motorbikes who will deliver product to the home. So we're moving with a lot of agility to ensure we're serving our consumers effectively under these conditions that are at play right now.
Ivan, it's like you know what I was doing in New York for the past 4 months. My question for you is about a lot of your products are really linked to some experiences. And that is going out, bars, restaurants. When social distancing measures, with them still in place, are you ever going to be really fully able to recover? And then the second part of my question would be, do you think then 2019 ended up being peak alcohol consumption?
Well, to the first part, I'd say, we talk to consumers right across the world very frequently, every week, to understand where they are, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. The 2 things consumers want most coming out of lockdown and these conditions is meeting up with family and friends and going out to a bar or a restaurant or pub or a festival. So that human motivation, we believe, was going to endure. And as conditions improve, we'll see consumers go right back in. But what we're doing in the meantime, actually, is creating the experiences at home. So one of the trends you've seen is cooking from scratch and baking has picked up. So with Baileys, we moved right into that space on social media and digital engagement. And we've seen a very good response from markets like China to the United States, where Baileys is doing better. Johnny Walker, we have a program called Kitchen Sink Drinks, where online we look at what ingredients you have in your fridge at home and design cocktails that you can make at home, because there's a huge desire to get bar quality cocktails at home. To your point on consumption levels, they haven't gone up. In fact, we've seen sequentially per capita consumption come down for a long time. We obviously stand very much for drinking in moderation and drinking sensibly. You have seen the shift from out of home to in home, but say in a market like the UK, where 40% of the business is out of home, that has collapsed. The in-home consumption has picked up, but total alcohol has dropped about 20%. So it is not It is not true that the overall populations are drinking more. You are seeing this shift from out of home to in home. But what we're encouraged by is the trends towards premiumization. And we were talking about tequila. Casamigos, Don Julio, these are $50 bottles of tequila, are growing double digit right now. So we're seeing that trend also sustain, particularly in the United States.
Well, and it's your margins. It's your margins, I know, Ivan, that investors have really appreciated. And I wonder if they can expect a boost in revenue with those big margins to really help in the second half or in fiscal 2021. I mean, you're seeing, I assume, a comeback in places like China as a precursor to what you expect in the Western world. So can you tell us from that what kind of quality you expect in a sales recovery?
Yeah, so what we're looking at, our last quarter was the weakest quarter because it had the biggest impact of the lockdowns around the world. We are seeing sequential improvement. Even in the last quarter, month to month, it improved. And as we look forward, the next couple of quarters, we're expecting things to get better each quarter. To your point, in China, every day, every week is getting better. The on-premise is reopening, and we're seeing consumption pick up in the on-trade. The same happens in like the UK, where the pubs have opened a few weeks ago. We are seeing steady recovery. Footfall is at about 70% of normal. The beer business in the first couple of weeks was 70% of normal. But we expect that to improve. But clearly, it is based on the conditions of the virus and government policies also that will impact it. But overall, across the world, we do expect sequential improvement for Diageo.